There it is. Oh my gosh. Dude, okay. And we have it here. We have it here. So now we have everything we need. Unfortunately, we don't have the rest of the Sajam commentary on what he said, so I can't use the full context. But he just speaks on... I can show you guys what I'm talking about first. So there's randomly commentary discourse in fighting games right now. And because of the fact that Sajam didn't explicitly like the way Jammers explained a situation, right? I think people took it out of context, and it was very hard to find the context. He doesn't like when people are inherently negative in fighting games, right? Instead of talking about Itabashi winning here, the winning moment of Itabashi taking it over Salvatore and making it so Salvatore cannot make it further into the bracket. This is Group A, right? Instead, Jammers talks about how bad this dive kick is. Sajam likes to call this kind of commentary anime commentary, where you're like, this guy's combos are trash, he doesn't know when to burst, motherfucker sucks all of his super inputs, he's really sloppy when it comes to movement, like you're just berating and like bullying a player for their bad habits or tendencies. And that's really bad. I think if that's all you're doing, it's awful. But if you hear a lot of the rest of the commentary that happened during this set, which I can show you guys, you'll see that there's really only one major problem Sajam has with what Jammer said, and it's right here at the end. So let me go back.
Listen, I'm sorry. I gotta call it how I see it. That was god awful. That dive kick was not.
All right, you know what else is god awful? His fucking commentary, bro. I can't listen anymore. I gotta mute him. Sorry. I can't listen anymore, bro. I can't. Like, I can't. I just can't, bro. I'm sorry. I cannot listen anymore. It's not good. It's just not good.
Now, the rest of this is just like 2 more seconds of him saying, I can't, man. So, one, this is his own personal stream, and he should be allowed to speak on something that he doesn't find appealing, right? Like, we all want everyone to enjoy fighting games and enjoy commentary in fighting games. So maybe saying something about Jammer's commentary not appealing to someone, maybe it doesn't appeal to others, right? But the context is lost here about it being that you're wasting the winning moment, which, by the way, the match is already over. But you're wasting the winning moment talking about how bad a dive kick was. Now, I can show you guys what he actually says in the moment, and we can look back and see if there was something else he could have said. I do believe, personally, that winning moments for things like this aren't always that important. Sometimes talking about the negatives of the situation are also good, but it needs to be done with tact. Saying, like, that dive kick was shit, like, doesn't really change a lot of what happened on the screen. Like, you could see that yourself. But instead, maybe he could have explained why the dive kick was bad, or what could have been done in the situation to either create a better dive kick or a button that could have been used in that situation instead. Like, no, maybe he should have gone for a walk-up standing medium kick to try to gain more space. No, he could have continued his walk back instead and then done his dive kick, because he walked back forward and I'll show you guys. So let's hear a little bit more of Jammer's commentary. We'll go right from after the super. Love that. Me too, Cola.
Sounds like an athlete to me.
Oh, yeah. The broke ones.
What you say? Anyway, bro, that should have been punished, dude. You should have swept him. But he's gonna get good damage here. One more guess for Salvatore. What's it gonna be?
A neutral jump and the possibility of a drive rush jab.
That was terrible.
That's it.
That was such a terrible dive kick. Oh my word. And Itabashi is going to turn it around and take it 2-1. And I think he's actually completely deadened Salvatore's chances to get out of this.
So at the end there, he mentions the winning moment. He says, and that is going to be it. Itabashi, I'm paraphrasing. Of course, he didn't say it this way. Itabashi is going to defeat Salvatore and cut him out of Capcom Cup top 16 contention. Amazing stuff from Itabashi. But before that, he touches on how bad the dive kick was and that it was a full punish because of it. And he also mentioned punishing the sweep, right? Maybe there was 2 things in there right at the end that Sajam disagreed with and didn't like. Because he's not talking about a missed opportunity, right? Because you can handle it with a little more tact. You could say, oh, a missed opportunity on that punish. Itabashi not taking advantage of a free punish given to him. Right? Maybe that's the kind of tact he wanted. But some people like that just like raw negative commentary. It's like, oh my gosh, he missed a punish on the sweep, could have swept back, taken away some of that drive gauge. I'm still doing the analytical thing because that's just me. That's just how I commentate, which is unfortunate. Right? The winning moment happened here. He talked badly on the dive kick, and he talked about a sweep not being punished. So he talked about two negative things from both players here, by the way. I just want to let you know. Because right here, he mentions that Itabashi does not punish this sweep. This is a sweep. Right here. You can punish that with sweep as Zangief. And he doesn't punish it. He calls out Itabashi the same way he calls out Salvatore. Right? Salvatore, whatever his name may be. He calls them both out. Neither one of them were safe from this raw, real commentary of, hey, you fucked something up. And the cool thing is, if someone didn't see this in the moment and they didn't think about it, they were too focused, if they come back to this commentary, they will then see, holy shit, yeah, man, maybe I should watch out. I didn't punish that sweep. Holy shit, yeah, man, I did really mess up this dive kick here. That did cost me the game. Because that's what happens here. And he even mentions, hey, dude, you should have swept them. He says, you should have swept them. That gives him full, clear indication of what could have been done better in the situation. This dive kick, unfortunately, he doesn't really give a good talking point of what could have been done. And he doesn't, once again, he does it raw, he does it real. He doesn't say that, oh, a misplaced dive kick from Salvatore leading to the full combo punish by Itabashi to take this game and dead his chances of making it into the top 16 of Capcom Cup 2025. And it's that easy. But not everyone wants to commentate like that, right? I'll say that probably the way I speak and the way I commentate is probably closer to Sajam than Jammers. I'll admit that. But I can respect and understand both styles of commentary because I don't just watch fighting games. This is the culture divide. This is the cultural difference. If you watch card games, if you watch sports, if you watch contact sports like boxing, like combat sports, you will see people call out things like this in a way closer to Jammers than closer to Sajam. Now, I want to, before we show you a clip, because I have a clip of NBA. Before I show you that, I want to talk about what I would have said in this situation. Because it happens after this. I would have said, oh, instead of walking back more, Itabashi took the space and made Salvatore think that a crouching medium kick was coming, going for the read of the dive kick, and it doesn't pay off. And it creates a winning situation for Itabashi Zangief. He will be moving on in Capcom Cup, and Salvatore's chances are reduced to 0. Amazing stuff from both competitors, but Itabashi Zangief moves on. That's me. That's me. But not everyone's me. And guess what? Some people might not have liked that style of commentary, not calling out that. Guess what? Maybe really what should have happened here is Salvatore shouldn't have walked forward some more and then done it here after Itabashi walked forward. You're already in the corner. Maybe walk back a little bit more first, right? They stop here. Boom, he walks forward, and they both crouch. He was waiting for a crouching medium kick, crouching medium punch. Maybe instead, you lose a little bit more corner. You walk back anyway. Look at your fucking health bar. You get hit, you're dying anyway. Maybe you walk back more. That is another thing that could have been broadened, could have been explained after this main part, right? In the part of the clip that Sajam talks about that makes him finally turn off Jammer's commentary, it's actually the post-match analytic. It's the post-match analytical, right? Where he once again harps on the dive kick and it just like tilts Sajam off the face of the planet and he cannot continue to watch it or listen to it. This is after the winning moment is established, which happens here.
That was terrible. That was such a terrible dive kick. Oh my word. And Itabashi's going to turn it around and take it 2-1. And I think he's actually completely deaded.
He touches on the thing that's important and still does the winning moment after reeling it back from talking shit about the dive kick. But guess what? He talked shit about the dive kick. And I'm going to talk shit about the way that Patrick Mahomes fumbled the ball versus the Bills and literally fully dropped the ball on the ground. Superstar player, one of the best players in the world, cannot keep his hands on the ball. Almost gives the Bills a free touchdown. Whoa, insane potential comeback. Right? You talk about it. It's something that happened on the field. Right? The Commanders trying to jump the line to stop a push from the Eagles at the end zone where their only chance is to get Jalen Hurts on the ground immediately. Luvu doing that. But I'm talking about actual sports. And these are things that would have been brought up, did come up in a lot of these games, because it's just a cultural divide between people being really soft, maybe, right? Some people would say really soft, in the FGC, in comparison to a lot of other sports and mind sports with casters and commentators. Because if you look here, if I go over to this clip, we can see that this player is about to go for a three-point shot. And neither of the commentators agree with it. And what do they say?
No. Oh my goodness, Valentine!
No,
Whoa, no!
No.
That is not the shot at that moment.
That's a horrible shot.
Yeah. They both agree. They're both in unison calling it a horrible shot. One is doing the hype job, one is doing the affirmation job. And there's nothing inherently wrong with his commentary. No one is on Twitter crying about what was said during this game. They talk about how bad of a shot it was because the shot doesn't even win them the game. Like, it gets them closer by 2 points. But he's got a man coming in on the side here. Maybe he doesn't look. But guess what? You had a man coming in on the side, and you were being guarded by 2. You try to slide that ball, maybe, right? Something that could have been talked about is the play that could have happened here instead. But it wasn't something that was talked about. But in other sports, esports, and mind sports, even contact sports, negative plays are called out, and I think that it's helpful, but I think it needs to be handled with more tact when it comes to the community. And you have to know your audience, and I think that sports commentary and, contact sports, combat sports, they're used to a little more roughness in the words because of the way the sports are played. They're physical sports. Right? Card games, they're fucking nerds. They want to know when something's going wrong. They want to know when you were supposed to play your land before you swung with your creatures, or when you were supposed to empty your hand so you could swing with your creature to use an effect when you have no cards in hand. Right? And they call out those misplays. One of those misplays, I can mention it now. Unfortunately, I don't have the clip, but one of the Pro Tours that happened about 7 or 8 years ago now, I believe. Maybe it was even further back than that. Pro Tour Amonkhet, or Pro Tour Out of Devastation, I believe. A mono red player was supposed to be activating the effect of a god to win the game after attacking. But he forgot to empty his hand first. A lot of Magic the Gathering players go for their land. If they're not playing anything, they go for their land on main phase 2 to fake that they have something, some sort of removal spell or interactive spell in their hand. They try to fake it. And when they're doing so, they go into battle phase before emptying their hand or before removing cards from them. This is a mono red deck. You should probably know that you're not supposed to do this unless you actually have a Chakra, Lightning Strike, or an Abrade, whatever it may be, whatever kind of removal spell, Magma Spray. He didn't get that memo. He forgot. On the world stage, in a top 8, he made the misplay of trying to go into battle and attacking with his Hazoret and his other creatures to try to use Hazoret effect after to kill his opponent. Unfortunately, the Hazoret at the time could not attack because he still had too many cards in hand, wasting his battle phase and losing the potential 5 damage of the Hazoret. And the commentators in unison called it out as a misplay that loses the game. Because now everyone who's watching knows that that situation was dire and that messing it up is a crucial misplay and a crucial step to his opponent winning the game. And if he goes back and watches, he can understand exactly what the choke point of his play was and understand, or maybe attempt to learn from the situation, play more calmly, and think through his plays before he acts on them. You have to think a lot faster in fighting games, but you still think when playing fighting games. Nothing changes. Negativity in commentary is fine as long as it's handled with tact and you handle it in a way where your audience is okay with it. You can mince words when it comes to certain types of commentary because certain audiences are not okay with it, or you can go balls to the walls, full aggressive insults on plays, probably not players, but on plays if your audience is more okay with that. I think that it's totally fine that Sajam called out what Jammer said because that's not the style of commentary he enjoys as someone who does commentary and watches and listens to a lot of commentary. But I also think that Jammers understands his audience and the people who like him for what he does, which is not mincing words. He did it versus the play that Itabashi messed up on, and he did it versus the play that Salvatore messed up on. He was completely fair and honest in his analysis that the basing on the dive kick was terrible and that there was a missed sweep. He just didn't handle it in a way that some people enjoy. I personally like both styles of the commentary. I lean more towards using mistakes as a way to create new knowledge on the screen for the viewers and for potential watchers of the VOD later, including the players who are watching it. But I can understand how some people like that raw, real, fast commentary of, this is what you did wrong, you fucked up, let's talk about it in the moment, not talk about what you could have done better. Right? Because the best players in the world are going to try to figure out what they did wrong anyway. They're going to be like, oh shit, I fucked up there. Let me think about that. What could I have done here? Okay, now I know. I'll try to keep that in mind for the next time. I'll lock that shit in. I saw people talking about how maybe rewatching Jammer's commentary of what was said about this bad dive kick would make them salty.
Listen, I'm sorry.
And I'm going to be honest, that is a scrub mentality most of these players, they lose their salt after like 30 minutes, and then they use the rest of it as a learning experience. That salt is going to fuel them learning and getting better. They're not going to hold on to that salt and let it define the way they play for the rest of the day. They're going to be like, I need to use that salt as a learning experience. I was mad because of this. I was upset because of this. And I'm going to play in this way because of it. That's how good players think. Scrubs think, I'm going to rewatch this commentary and be upset again because I missed that dive kick. And damn, he really called it out for 100,000 people to see. No one cares. We all saw that it was a bad dive kick. We know. Anyways, tell me how you guys feel about this commentary discourse. I personally, like I said, don't believe either one of them really did anything wrong. They're both allowed to express their opinions. I believe they already hashed this out in like a couple messages. I don't even think Sajam needed to apologize. He didn't need to touch on it at all because it's his own personal stream. I say negative things about people and commentary and games on my personal stream all the time. And if a dev says, hey man, that really hurt my feelings that you talk shit about my game, I'm not going to personally apologize. I'm going to say, hey, I think your game is bad. And if you want to talk about what I think it could get better, let's do it. Let's have a talk about it. That's what I would do. I'm not even going to apologize. I'd be like, I contacted Jammers and told him what I thought he did wrong with his commentary. But you guys let me know how you guys feel about it. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, where I'm going to try to talk about more fighting game discourse and more gaming discourse in general as I remember to look at Twitter, because I usually don't. Anyways, this has been Beanie Thuggish for the YouTubes, talking about a cultural clash in commentary styles, signing out and saying